Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the show, Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. Today, we have one of the very rare opportunities that I grab a good friend of mine down from Southern California, Orange County, Mr. John Shu, to come over here. He's an outstanding attorney for the community, living in the community, yet he has a rich background. He was involved as a consultant or on the consultant board for several presidencies, and he's still active. And he's, by the way, after the show, to catch a flight to Washington, D.C. to meet with several senators of their congressional legal problems. Anyway, so it's one of the rare moments I have to ask questions, very compact, right? So how about to my audience who see you the first time, some background, please.
Thank you, Jack. It's an honor to be here, and an honor to be with your audience and all the viewers that are out there.
Yeah, same here.
I've been very fortunate, in my career, and right now I am an attorney. I'm based in Newport Beach, California. I generally focus on corporate, securities, and constitutional law. I do advise corporations from all over the world, including companies that want to come into the United States and do business, or U.S. companies that want to go overseas, especially Asia, to do business. And on the constitutional side, I've been very fortunate in my life. I've worked for 2 presidents of the United States, and have worked for many other candidates in statewide office and for national office. I've worked on several Supreme Court confirmations. Those are always very interesting, very difficult, but it's an honor to be here and an honor to chat with the legal issues at day.
So you're one of the big shots.
I'm not. I'm really not. But
you're one.
I'm happy to. I'm happy to be here in California. That's for
not
sure.
everybody gets a chance to get involved with the several presidents. It's like 2 of them. That's one of the very rare case. Anyway. Whenever I schedule a show for you, I put something together in a very compact way to make a good use of this little moment. So it is recently, for the recent years, past 2 or 3 years, or especially past 2 years, I myself have been bothered so much about the frequent occurrences of policing problems. Starting from the point of Kelly Thomas case in Fullerton, followed by Pasadena cases, 8 of them over one summer, and then Southern Orange County part, within like a 2-week period, 7 cases occurred, and then the nationwide we have the Michael Brown case. Right. And in between, among those instances, we have high freeway chase, high speed chase. We have police officers straddling on a woman, punching like that. We have personal information being breached. In a very violent way. And we have also another issue of militarizing police officers, or police department. So altogether, I feel kind of very scary that we are in a situation of getting a culture overturned. So am I right, or am I sensitive about this matter? So give me some kind of a overall comment from a legal point of view and a lawyer's point of view, please.
Well, from a legal point of view, generally police departments have very clear rules and very clear policies for their officers to follow. There are situations that come up that the policies don't anticipate. I do think that the police have a very difficult job. There is no question about that. At the same time, the police officers ought to be trained enough and ought to follow their training. And sometimes the best way to go is to restrain yourself and to make the best judgment that you can. Now, there are some cases, for example, the California Highway Patrol, there have been a few officers that are being charged with stealing very private photographs from the cell phones of young women. And that's, if it's true, if those allegations are true, then that behavior is clearly illegal. I mean, there's no question about that. And that's something, and even if it's not illegal, it's certainly immoral.
Yeah, immoral, of course.
You know,
yeah.
because those private photographs have nothing to do with the drunk driving arrest, and they were stolen anyway.
All right.
And that's very inappropriate. And I think the issue, Jack, is that if you or me or any of our viewers who are not CHP officers, if we were to steal very personal, very private photographs,
and we're in jail already.
We would be in jail right now.
Yeah,
There's no question about
yes,
that.
Yes, you're
and
right.
I think that you know, the police should at least be held to the same standard. And the fact of the matter is that stealing a very personal, very private photograph from a young woman's cell phone that has nothing to do with the charge, it has nothing to do with the arrest, I just think that's terrible. And I think the leadership of the CHP believes that it's terrible. I mean, we've heard the commissioner of the California Highway Patrol, we've heard the station chief, the station captain, and they've all come out and they've said, look, if these allegations are true, it is unacceptable. And so I think the leadership of the California Highway Patrol is certainly trying to do something about it. But I do think it's up to the citizens. You know, if the citizens believe that it's wrong, it's up to them to write, to email, to call, and let their feelings be known.
Well, the problem is that we, the D people, do feel the problem, such as myself. I do feel the problem. And lots of my guests on the show talking about the same issue feel the problem. Well, they are themselves. They remain the way they are.
Yes.
Right? Compared to early days when I first came to the States, I compared these two pictures. When encountering police officers, you have a problem on the freeway, they push you to the end, to the side, and then push you all the way down the ramp to a gas station. Or somewhere like that.
Right.
So these days you don't see those things.
Well, they can't do that anymore because of the safety issues. I think that you know, maybe 20 or 25 years ago, the highway patrol officers or state police officers in other states, they could do that because there weren't as many cars on the freeway. And so as the population changes and as the traffic conditions change, the police have to change their policies as well.
The challenge is that you still have the crew member increased by the same ratio.
Right.
Now, instead of 80,000, we have 100,000 police officers around Southern California in greater Los Angeles area, right?
Yes.
So increase is by ratio, not matching or not matching, I'm not sure, but still you have the increase of the crew members.
Yes.
Right? So that's not the point. The point is that the culture is kind of losing up.
Yeah, I do think that there is, you know, for example, especially after the riots in Ferguson, Missouri. There was a lot of discussion about the militarization of police departments.
Exactly.
And I think that the original intent of the program to have the Pentagon give, you know, used items and donate them to police departments, I think the original intent was good. It was a good intention, you know, to give police departments equipment that they could use. But I think what's happened is, you know, as police departments have when they do receive, you know, these armored trucks,
even tanks,
and
hand grenades,
hand grenades,
even bayonets,
and bayonets. You know, I think that.
What do you need that for?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
You want to ponder somebody?
Well, I hope not. I don't think it's.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, what do you need that? What do you need that for?
Well, it's not clear, and I do think that. You know,
unless something basically here
that
you are fighting a war.
Well, that's the other issue. You know, I think some people forget a lot of military veterans, because of their experience, and especially if they served as military police officers, they will join a civilian police force. They'll join your local police department. And the problem, I think, with that is that, you know, serving as a soldier overseas and in a combat zone is very different than serving as a police officer in South Pasadena.
You're right.
And so I think there has to be a very clear training and a very clear program so that anybody, whether they're coming from high school or college or from the military, that they understand that if they view their job as a combat zone, then they're going to act that way. And especially if they have automatic weapons and if they have tanks, they're really going to think that it's a combat zone.
There are lots of indications that they do consider their job as a combat job.
Right.
They do consider their site as a combat field.
Well, sometimes it is.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Well, but sometimes it is. You know, unfortunately, our police are the ones that have to deal with really bad people. You know, you've got drug dealers, you've got gun runners. There are very violent people who are, you know, especially here in California.
Whose police department doesn't have to?
Well, well, that's true. But the fact of the matter is, though,
that's why they're called police.
I understand that, and I know they get they get paid, and they say they get underpaid.
Of course.
But they get paid to address this issue.
They get paid higher than mine, than I get paid, right?
Well, I think you should ask your bosses for a raise.
Yeah, I know, but you know, we're talking about being fair.
I understand, and but my point is that it's important. I think it's important for any police officer to understand that the vast majority of people are good people, and the vast majority of people are not the drug runners.
All right, you're right.
You know, and that they're not the gun runners and whatever. And the vast majority of American citizens are good people. It's not to say they don't break the law. It's not to say they don't speed or run a stop sign or something. But you know, that kind of they certainly don't deserve to get beat up for that.
I see.
And I think the other issue is, you know, now in the modern day, it seems to me that more criminals are willing to attack police officers than in the past. And so I think that leads the police to believe that they're under assault.
And that itself calls for a deeper study.
I think so.
Right?
Yes,
okay.
For sure.
Back to my audience, today is one of the very, very valuable discussion that I've been long in waiting for my good friend, Mr. John Xu, attorney of Southern California, of Newport Beach. And as a matter of fact, with his experiences applied into the show, though, I believe that I'm asking questions to the right people. And hopefully I get the right answer from you. And he's handling corporation issues and also constitutional issues. And right after this show, he's going to catch a flight to DC to meet with several senators for their congressional matters, whatever. Anyway, let's take a short moment now. When we come back, after this overall picture, we're going to take issue by issue, see what's exactly wrong. Stay with us.